It was a beautiful day, and it was a great run, and it was just a really incredible run. And I think people forget that, for good reason, but it was a really beautiful day.
So I ran the Boston Marathon last year. I was running for charity, so I'm slow. I was not, I didn't qualify for the race.
So I was at the Boston Marathon last year. I was going there to the finish line to support. I had a lot of friends' parents who were running.
I ran with my blockmate that I then was going to run Green Bay with.
Last year I was at the Boston Marathon as a spectator, cheering on some friends, and it was the first time I'd actually ever purposely missed a class.
I banded it, which is where you run unofficially, to help my friend Ginny Foz, and I paced her. I jumped in mile 8.
I was 4 blocks away, I think. When the blast happened, I turned around. Initially didn't know what it was. I don't think anyone really did.
So I crossed the finish line and we got right on the tee. And I came back to campus and had no idea.
An earthquake feeling, turning around and seeing the first one, and then the second one happened a few seconds later.
Maybe 30, 40 feet in front of me, the first one went off and everyone just started running.
When we got to mile 23, 24-ish, I think that's when the explosions happened. I was, still a couple miles out from the finish line, so I didn't hear anything. I didn't really know what had happened. I kept running because that's what you do when you're running a marathon.
And then this race official, or a policeman, I can't remember, stopped me. And I just remember thinking, you don't know. I'm running the Boston Marathon. You don't just tell me to stop. That's completely the etiquette. That's not what you do.
So as we were running, it was super scary experience. I saw people falling down. There was an old lady who was kind of to my right who had fallen down.
I get a call from my dad who's like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "At the Boston Marathon."
I called my dad. My dad was the first person I called.
So I called my dad. He said, "Okay, good. I'm glad you're back in leaving Cambridge and you're safe." And
my dad had to physically pull me off of the course to get me to stop running.
it was a very localized thing around those 2 blasts. I think people that were at the finish line and people maybe a block away were really, could see everything, could hear everything.
And then the second one went off and it was closer to us, and so, all bets were off, and I don't know what happened to her, but just kept running and running. And it was just scary because the second one was closer to where we were, so we didn't know if there was going to be another one.
So I turned on the television and it was already on the news. It was unbelievable. I was just there. I don't think so. I was just there.
Responding to a request from the Crimson, being like, "Can you report?" And I was like, "No, I'm out of the situation now," which I guess I feel a little guilty about, since, at the time you would think your reporter instinct's going, "Oh, I need to be a part of the action," but kind of it works out when you have police going in front of your face saying you need to get out of the area. You kind of say, "Okay, I'll go the other way."
Looking back on this, I don't know how I feel about it, but I just saw the nearest fence and I scaled it because I was not as tired as everybody else, having jumped in at mile 8, and so I was able to get over that fence. And then I pretty much just remember my first thought that I kept repeating was, I have to go back and do this Spanish presentation.
At this point, we had lost the other person I was running with. I turned to Linda Ling, who was a fellow Llewellyn. I turned to her, I said, we should just get out of here. We have no business being here. We don't, we're bandits. We don't have to get a medal. We don't have bags to pick up. We should just leave. I don't know what's going on. And still very much this isn't a crisis, but this is just something odd that's going on,
We had to walk 5 miles to get to our car because the city was so discombobulated and shut down, and just a war zone of a wasteland. People already were outside offering, bathroom water, phone, on their porches if you walked by their house.
And then I actually ran all the way back to campus, pretty much straight to my Spanish class. And I went in, I was kind of dazed, and I just remember prioritizing this presentation. I got to class, and my teacher saw me and saw I was still kind of sweaty, and asked, "Cómo fue el maratón?" which means, how was the marathon?
At this point, we think we're safe. We're back at campus.
And then coming back to school was okay. It was kind of hard. It was hard to go back into Annenberg for the first time and see, so many people in such a small space, and so many people just laughing, talking and not even pretending, just like nothing had changed, and like for me so much had changed, and so just to have that sort of atmosphere was really, really hard.
I think I'm still like to this day shaken up about it. Like still to this day, like I haven't like shed a tear about it just because I've like just kept emotions so wrapped up and I just can't believe it had happened. Just like I feel like I haven't even let it go.
And it was tough. I mean, it was like at that point it was really sinking in that this was something that was this was going to be very tragic, very sad, very a real test of the community.
But things calmed down, and I was in the dining hall, and I saw my housemaster, Sean, and at that point, I just like broke down and hugged him, and it was like he knew. Was very, very good at picking up on subtle cues and knew that there was a storm brewing underneath a quiet exterior. And for that moment, he just was exactly what I needed, which is, you know, a shoulder to cry on.
I think a lot of people were not really thinking about who did it. They were just still shocked by what had happened in general. Not like, oh my gosh, these people are still out there, we need to find them. That like wasn't my first thought at all. I was just like, I hope everyone's okay. I can't believe that happened.
I just wanted normalcy. That's what I remember. I just remember feeling like I really don't want to be in Boston right now. But if I were in Boston, I just want like classes to continue, you know, just to eat in the dining hall, chat with my friends, just all the small things that we take for granted every day.
No one's experiences or feelings about that week are any more or less valid than each other's. It's just interesting how isolated you are in your own experience.
It was just a really humbling experience too, because a lot of my family that lives still in Bangladesh, you know, bombings and riots and things like that are something they experience on the daily. And the fact that it was such a moving, emotional experience for me, or the fact that it was so terrifying, is just a testament to my privilege of birth, that I was raised in this country where this is rare.
There really is a whole world of these amazing things that happen on that day and that will continue to happen every Marathon Monday from now on.
My two favorite days of the year are probably the Boston Marathon and Housing Day. And I think that the thing that they have in common is this sort of communal coming together celebration of just everyone. I don't know. Like everyone's involved in this.
One thing I really like about the way Boston handled it was very quickly after the bombings, they announced that there would be a marathon next year.
What makes me so happy is a lot of students I hear are going this year, and I'm really happy for that. You know, you're gonna miss one day of class. It's okay. Like it's so much more important to go out and cheer on some friends and just be a part of what a memorable day in your life.
I think I'm gonna try to go to the finish line again.
I want to run it. If I'm not running it, I'll definitely go and watch. So there's so many people that want to run this race, and to like be able to do it again is really awesome. And I'm really, really just excited to like spend time on the course. Like I'm slow. I'm not gonna win. I'm not gonna like even do well, so it's fine. And I'm just gonna like take my time on this course with all these beautiful people, and I'm really, really excited to like get to do that.
So I've heard from a lot of my friends here that they'll be out not only to support the day, but to support me too. So I'm looking forward to seeing them at the finish line.